未来を取り戻す戦いが始まる。
When it comes to Fate Grand Order, there's so much potential for spin-off games that it's crazy how there isn't anything outside the mobile game for both PC and consoles. There have been a handful of games made for the Fate series in general, but for FGO, there hasn't been anything. And I think that's a change. I did talk about in a previous video the potential for Fate Grand Order fighting game, but in this one I wanted to talk and explore the idea of having an RPG. Since I've been playing a lot of JRPGs recently, namely Xenoblade, some Dragon Quest here and there, and some other titles that I've got really engrossed with, and it really dawned on me that we're kind of missing something with the Fate franchise. And of course you can call the mobile game FGO an RPG, because it really is, but I'm not talking about RPG in that sort of sense. I'm talking about in the sense of the other games that I've actually been playing. If you don't know about FGO, you haven't played it before, the world is going to end at a specific point in time, and you need to go to these singularities where things have gone wrong, and you have to correct the history that's being changed in those particular singularities, more or less. And obviously the FGO story goes beyond that, but you know, that's for sequels and stuff like that. And I can just imagine going to all these different singularities in these different time periods and exploring the land, seeing all the landmarks, so the historical landmarks, meeting all the historical figures that, you know, we all know and love as servants in Fate. And it's so obvious that that's the next step for Fate, but they really want to go hard on FGO, the mobile game. And obviously they did release a few years ago Fate Grand Order Arcade, which was an arcade game that I did get to play when I actually visited Japan, and it is fun as an action game. So in terms of combat, they could really implement that style of combat in that game in an action game. But something I'm looking at personally for them to take Fate in when it comes to an RPG is something made by Platinum. And if you haven't seen Granblue Fantasy Relink, it's a game that looks like it's in development hell right now. I don't know what's happening with that game. It might be coming soon, later this year or maybe next year, but there's not really a concrete time or date it's coming out. But if you look at that game, it has that sort of fast-paced, really fun action that I think really suits the style of action you'd see in the FGO mobile game, where the characters, you know, they throw out all these crazy moves and they move lightning fast and they do all these nice looking things. And if you watch the animes, obviously you see these grand set pieces with all these characters that have all these different unique abilities. And I think a developer like Platinum Games can really enhance that visual aspect of Fate that we love, especially if you're more of an anime fan than anything, not so much a FGO fan. I think they're the kind of company that would really pull through when it comes to the visuals and pull through when it comes to feeling like you're one of these very cool servants that we come to know and love in the game. Now, other than the combat, I think the gameplay with traversing across the land would be pretty simple. You know, you would have your master, you as the main character, and then you have a group of servants as your team. And obviously once you get into combat situations, that's when they will come out and start fighting. Maybe one by one or as a group, you can command them to do stuff whilst actively fighting as one of them. That would be really cool. Pretty much like how the Tales games run. But outside of combat, you could have, you know, servants use their unique abilities to get past obstacles, which is something that they do in Xenoblade, which I noticed. In the first game they did that, but in the second game, you definitely have each of your blades being able to do something in particular and interact with objects in the wild, where a specific blade will be able to get you past a specific obstacle. So that would be very interesting to use with servants as well, because each servant in Fate has their unique aspects about them that they could use in different situations. If you go into all the lore with Fate and the characters, and even within the game, each characters have like these specific skills that are ranked from A to D. I forgot the ranking, how low it goes, but I know, you know, you can get really high level skills and really low level skills, and you can mix and match servants who have different ranges of skills in order to, you know, interact with different stuff on the map and be able to access certain areas, or even speak to certain people that you couldn't be able to speak to before, or get past particular areas with enemies. Maybe you want to be sneaky and get through an area, so you need assassin class servants. If you need to bulldoze your way through an area, you would use more berserker style servants. That'd be really interesting. You know, there's so many ways in which you could create a game that is very interactive with the world and the characters, so that you feel as though that you can have a broad range of servants to play from and not every character feels the same to use. There's so much more to add, but you get the gist of it. There's so many different factors you could take into building an entire world with these characters to be able to interact with, even traversing across the land, the air, and the sea. Some characters are pirates and stuff like that, so they can summon boats and stuff, so you can travel across the sea. Obviously, we have the rider class who have chariots, so you can have a lot of mounts. And there's just so much cool things that you could just add into a game like that, and possibly an MMO, but I'll probably talk about that in another video. So yeah, if you've still been watching the video up until this point, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like on the video if you can, it's free. Leave a comment to say if you actually enjoy a concept like this, or if you have a different idea for a Fate game, if you like them to venture into a different genre. Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to see what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in our next video. Peace.